Hey everybody, it's Ranger Russ at the Meigs Nature Center. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're enjoying your time in solitude and being alone. I am feeling like people are getting a little stir crazy. There's a lot of things that you want to be doing. You want to go outside and enjoy the day. You can do that. You can still visit our state parks. I really need to remind people though, you need to keep social distance. No matter if you're outside, indoors, wherever you are, you need to keep that 3 possums distance from the next person, okay? Really important. Connecticut state parks are open, but they won't be able to stay open if people keep gathering together in larger groups. So please remember, maintain social distance. Keep our parks open by following the rules and the guidelines. That will allow everyone to enjoy this and give you a place to go. And if a park, you have too many people at a park, visit one of Connecticut's state forests. There are some amazing trails out there, and you could walk all day if you want to. So get out and enjoy the parks. Keep washing your hands. Don't touch your face. That's really hard for me. I like to scratch my beard. You don't want to be touching your face. If we keep all those things, cough into your elbow completely, okay? We're going to get through this, and I'll be doing this as long as we're in these social distance guidelines and we're not able to open the Nature Center. I'll keep doing this, and hopefully you're enjoying it. I'm getting some great responses from everybody. I heard from Arizona that this is on their timetable, and they've got to keep watching. They want to watch all the episodes, so a big shout out to all my friends from Arizona that are watching, and from all over. If you want to make a comment, put up that where you're from so that I can see, and we'll do a questions near the end. So make sure if the question has gone by and I didn't get to it, ask it again. There's nothing wrong with asking a question multiple times. I love answering questions. That's why we're doing this, is we're trying to teach you something, and hopefully we're accomplishing that. So today we're talking about crabs, and specifically today we're talking about hermit crabs. I know when we were talking about some of our other crabs, we've had some great questions about hermit crabs. So we're going to talk about the hermit crabs. Now, I'm going to switch the camera so you guys can see. Worldwide, there are over 1,100 species of hermit crabs. So they're found all over the world. There are marine hermit crabs, which live in water. Some of them like salt water, like we have here. There are a few that can go to fresh water. But the land hermit crabs, which there aren't very many, they need to be near water. And they actually go back and forth between freshwater and saltwater. For the most part, the land ones go to the sea, and then they'll also go to freshwater just to keep their gills moist. So that's why crabs are able to survive out away from water, is their gills are moist. And if they can maintain that moisture on their gills, then they're able to survive out away from water. So if you look in here, we've got 2 hermit crabs, 2 live ones, and then we have this row of shells. So the difference between a hermit crab and most of the other crabs is that hard exoskeleton. So we've talked about the fact that crabs have a great exoskeleton. It protects them, but it prevents them from growing larger. They need to shed the exoskeleton in order to get larger. Hermit crabs, the main part of their body does not have a hard shell. It's a soft body, and that's why they hide inside this shell. They have a long curved body, and they curve inside of a gastropod, a snail's shell. They'll curl their body right around it, and they can actually hold in. You wouldn't be able to pull him out of there if you wanted to. Now, they do have armor on their claws and their legs, but the bulk of their body is soft. So those claws and legs, they will molt their exoskeleton when it's time for them to get larger. But what they really need to do when it's time for them to get bigger and they've grown, eventually this shell isn't going to be large enough for him to fit completely in there, for this crab. I keep saying him. I don't know whether it's a boy or a girl. For this crab to fit completely inside, it will pull in and it'll be right on the edge here. You'll be able to touch its claws will be right here, and it won't be able to fit the rest of the way in its shell. Then it's time to look for another empty snail shell. So I have a row. You can see there's 3 different sizes of shells here. So what a hermit crab will do is they just go and they try on a shell and see if it fits. They'll try in the next shell and see if that fits, and then the next one. So eventually this crab will grow into the bigger shell. But what sometimes happens, they will go and they'll be looking at one and they'll try it on, but while they're trying their shell on, another hermit crab comes along. They don't let go of their other crab shell with their claw. Their claw will still be holding on to both shells. They have a claw holding one and a claw holding the other, and they'll try this one on. But while he's trying this one on, another crab comes along and tries to fit into his shell. And he'll be holding on to its shell over here. And this is called a vacancy chain, okay? And vacancy chains happen in other animals too. It's what happens when a resource is rare and they need to make sure that they have the next one of it. And in this case, the resource is a home, an armored shell. So they'll try this one on, and another crab will be trying that one on, while another crab is holding on to this one. And once they start to get it all worked out, so the bigger crab will usually win out and get the bigger shell, then the next biggest one will take the next shell, and eventually they all work it out and they get a shell, okay? So we always keep some empty shells in the tank, so when it's time for the crabs to get larger, we don't know when that's going to be for sure, so they have empty shells that they can try on. Now the crab that we're talking about, the crab in my hand here, this is called a flat-clawed hermit crab. And these are found in Long Island Sound. This is the larger of the hermit crabs that you're going to find in Long Island Sound. If you've ever been swimming at Hammonasset and you've seen a shell moving very quickly in the water across the sand, the sandy bottom, it's probably because there's a hermit crab in it, because they can run pretty quickly. And they're looking for a snail shell. If it was a snail, it wouldn't be moving that fast. Now we have a couple of other hermit crabs in here, and these are called long-clawed hermit crabs. Now this is a great example. You can see this crab, when it's completely withdrawn in, it can't get all of its legs in. It's not completely safe. So this crab needs a larger shell. So we're actually going to put this down near a larger shell, and hopefully it will find it. I've got to dig up a shell for this guy though. And then this is another one, and we can see when this one pulls in, it can get further in, but it's getting close to being too big for this shell. And this is a moon snail shell, okay, also called a shark eye. That's one of their favorite shells. It's nice and round and very nice for them to have. All of them were moon snails except for this guy that's outgrowing his. This is a periwinkle, and we've done a program on periwinkles. So if you'd like to learn about our program, see all the ones that we've done in the past, you can go to meigspointnaturecenter.org, to our virtual learning center, and see all the videos that we've done since this has started. So we've been going a few weeks now. We have lots of videos up there. I do live programs at 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. The 11 o'clock program, we do a live animal, something like this. And then the 2 o'clock program, we're going to be doing something in the environment, or talking about an animal that I don't have in the Nature Center. And this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a really special program. It's going to be a little bit longer because it's not going to be all on Facebook Live. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about osprey. So 2 o'clock, we'll start talking about osprey, and then I'm going to let you guys switch over to our osprey camera. On our website, we have an osprey camera. You can look at the nest, and I'm going to go out to the nest and try and retrieve a piece of netting that the osprey have brought back to decorate their nest. I'm going to try and get that out, hopefully without disturbing the osprey too much, but you'll get to see both the live on the camera and the Facebook Live program. That's at 2 o'clock, so that's osprey. And also coming up this week, we're going to be visiting with our monk parakeets. Well, I'm going to bring the camera right into the aviary with the birds, so you'll get to see them. It should be lots of fun. So the flat-clawed hermit crab, it could get large enough to fill this shell. This is a good-sized shell, and that crab could get large enough to fill this, but it's not the largest hermit crab. The biggest hermit crabs in the world can get to be the size almost of a coconut. So if you think how big a coconut can get, that's a pretty big hermit crab. And I believe those are only land hermit crabs that get that big, but they do go to salt water. That's where they lay their eggs. Okay, now I see lots of people are watching. Let's see if we have any questions. Do they bite? I love that question. They can pinch. They don't hurt quite as bad as some of the larger crabs. You know, the amount of force that a crab produces is how big its claw is. So a crab with a really nice big claw is going to pinch harder than a crab with a thin, skinny claw. So the flat-clawed hermit crabs pinch a bit harder than the long-clawed hermit crabs. All right, let's see what else we have. How many types of hermit crabs in Portland, Connecticut? Good question. I don't think that we have any up in Portland. You're too far inland. But if you come down to the shore, these are the two main types that you're going to see. And I think that we only have 2 in Connecticut. There might be a third one that's just coming into this range. And how old can hermit crabs live? The oldest ones, those big ones that get the size of a coconut, can live 12 to 70 years. 70 is probably for a captive. They live longer in captivity. But 70 is a really long time for a crab to live. Okay, 12 years, these crabs here probably don't even live quite 12 years. Maybe the flat claw can get to be 12. All right, how old do they get? We just talked about how old they get. If anybody else has any questions, keep them coming. Are there any in New Jersey? Both of these species can be found in New Jersey, and you may be far enough south to get that third species, which I'm not sure if it comes this far north. So yes, you definitely have hermit crabs along the shore of New Jersey. So if you get a chance, go to the shore. You can search for them. Remember, these are all wild animals. They do not make good pets. I see people all the time trying to bring hermit crabs home and keep them in their houses. And they keep them the way you keep a land hermit crab. The main ones you get from pet stores are land crabs. So people bring these home. They try and raise them the same way. These crabs need a lot more moisture. They can be out of water for a time, but not a very long time. So it's really important to let live animals be live. I'm going to say that over and over again. Those are one of the things that I like repeating, is that these animals should be wild, living in their own natural habitat. All right, do we have any other of these questions? All right, I'm not seeing any more additional question. Okay. Oh, what are the predators? Great question. I'm glad you guys are really thinking about what they eat and what eats them. Okay? So, these guys are going to be scavengers. They're eating any of the little bits of things that are left behind. So, fish, anything that floats to the bottom, they can eat algae and seaweed. The things that eat them are large fish. Sometimes larger crabs can get them out, lobsters. So it's mainly larger crustaceans, crabs and lobsters, and bigger fish. They're able to swallow them and break up their shells. A skate is one of those that are really good. Are good at breaking shells. What happens if they can't find a bigger shell? That's a good question. They will stay in that shell, and more of their body will become exposed. Eventually, they're going to become vulnerable to predators. And so, if they can't find a shell, they may get eaten. But they can stay. They'll keep that shell as long as they possibly can. And what do they eat? Again, they're eating fish and algae and anything that they can find that's dead. We used the word detritus last week. So again, there are vocabulary lists next to the videos. Detritus is all the stuff that's left behind from other animals, and that's what they like to eat. All right. I really want to thank everyone for tuning in and continuing to watch these videos. We're going to keep them coming. I hope that you're enjoying it. I hope that you're visiting our website. Remember, meigspointnaturecenter.org. We also have links to other Connecticut state facilities like the Goodwin Conservation Center and Dinosaur State Park. They're putting up information as well. We also have Kellogg Environmental Center, and we're going to be getting close to the time that we would be doing the Great Park Pursuit. And we're working on some great things. I'm not sure if it's up yet this week, but as soon as it's up, you can go right to the DEP website from our website. They're linked together, and you'll get to see what we're doing for Great Park Pursuit this year. We also have some great things coming up for Earth Day that you can do in your backyards or in your homes to celebrate Earth Day. So I hope that you continue to tune in. We're gonna do this afternoon's program. Again, we'll start 2 o'clock on Facebook, and then you can go to the website and watch the live osprey camera, and we're going to try and help our osprey out. So, thank you all, and I'll see you this afternoon at 2 o'clock.